but like not the
But you
second.
didn't.
The second button. Yeah, you gotta hit it twice.
Gotcha.
All right. All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew.
And I'm BJ.
And we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. It is the first ever Lowdown mock draft. And that draft is coming up very soon. NBA draft on tap. First Lowdown mock draft going down, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of it, I'm going to ask BJ a couple of questions off of our draft. We're only going to do the first round because second round, my goodness, who's going to do that? We ain't got time for all that. And we're also going to slide in WNBA All-Stars starters. Going to talk about those briefly.
Yes, sir.
And play some with it or quit it. BJ.
Yes.
You ready to do this thing?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it, Drew.
All right, let's do it.
Hit that music, man.
The first pick in the Lowdown mock draft is Jabari Smith, power forward from Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about this draft class, Drew, there's the top 3 picks, and then there's the rest. But out of those 3, when you take a look at what the Magic really need, I think the best choice for the Magic and what a lot of people, who has become the odds-on favorite that the Magic end up taking is Jabari Smith. And that's who I have listed for the Magic on my draft board as well. I think a lot of people have come around to that ever since the lottery results came out, because there was talk at the end of the college season about who would go number 1. Would it be Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero from Duke, even some other names that we haven't talked about that we're sure to talk about here in this first round were mentioned at the start of the season. But I think that Bruce Pearl is going to get himself a number 1 pick that he can talk about in his recruiting pitch as to why to go to Auburn. Jabari Smith is my number 1 pick as well.
Oh, yeah. He might have a couple first rounders, depending on if anybody's feeling this other guy we might talk about later. But, yeah,
I think they will.
This is the guy right here. I think this is where people are going to go at with number 1 with Jabari Smith. You could go one other way, BJ. If you were to not select Jabari Smith, number 1 overall, to go to Orlando, who would you take in his place?
Probably Banchero. I think that Banchero is probably the only other player I would take. I think when you look at what the Magic could utilize and really could use, if they don't go Jabari Smith, I don't think they go Chet Holmgren. I really think that it's Jabari Smith or Banchero. Those are the only 2 options I see the Magic taking.
Yeah, man. All right. BJ. Number 2 pick is on the way. Pick is in.
All right.
Number 2 pick in the Lowdown mock draft. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, they select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, center.
Yeah, Drew, when you talk about what Oklahoma City is building up there, they're about to get 2 really good big guys when you take into account Josh Giddey, and Chet Holmgren. When you put the 2 of them together, they're going to have 2 really big forwards that they can, dump the ball down there into the paint. Obviously, Holmgren listed as a center, but you've got Giddey and both of those guys are going to be able to open up some space, get the pick and roll action going. Holmgren, to me, he's got the talent to be the number 1 pick. I just don't think that when you look at what Magic have, they're not going to go with him. But Oklahoma City is hoping that they keep up the same results they've had in the past with the number 2 pick, Drew, the last time the Thunder picked at number 2, they were still the Sonics back then, but they picked Kevin Durant, and that worked out pretty well, all things considered, I would have to say. So Magic and Thunder both have some pretty good track record with top picks, and they're hoping that in this draft class that they are going to get another once in a generation type talent.
Yeah, Chet's pretty good around the rim, blocking shots. He's a real skinny guy, but hopefully he can put on some muscle. But like you said
Yeah,
about OKC taking long, skinny guys, it worked out the first time when they got KD, but that was a whole different type of guy.
yeah.
Offensive weapon versus this guy. I mean, he can be an offensive weapon, but he's about length and around the rim protection. At what he does. But hey, I mean, this is what OKC is planning on getting. I don't think they're going to go anywhere else
No.
at this pick, no matter who goes 1. I think this is where they're going. Well, unless Chet is 1, then but he's
If Chet goes 1, they get really lucky and they get Jabari Smith, and they don't even blink. They say thank you. I don't know what else they would do, but they say thank you for sure.
right. So that's where that guy's going. But this next pick, well, it's probably pretty easy for you still too, BJ. And it is in with the 3rd pick in the Lowdown mock draft. The Houston Rockets select Paolo Banchero, power forward from Duke University.
Absolutely, Drew. The way he played down the stretch for the Blue Devils once they got into the month of February, and even beyond that, the way he came alive in the ACC and the NCAA tournament, leading the Blue Devils to the Final Four, it was clear to me that he was going to start rocketing up the boards and into the top 3, 4, 5 at least, and I think the way that ultimately, what he was able to accomplish and the way he looked in the NCAA tournament is what got him here, why he's going to be the 3rd pick, and why a lot of people, including me, think he could be one of the top 2 picks in the draft even. It's just if the Magic don't go Jabari Smith, they're going Banchero. He could end up being number 1. I just don't think unless they pick him 1, he's going to go number 3. I don't think Oklahoma City is going to take him one way or the other.
Yeah, I have seen some recently that have taken Banchero number 1. It's a possibility. I think that's your only real shuffle at the top 3 there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get any surprise of Chet going to Orlando, even though they do like tall, lanky, skinny guys, Mo Bamba, Jonathan Isaac, all those things.
Yeah.
But good selections so far. Let's keep it rocking as the next pick is in.
All right.
With a 4th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the Sacramento Kings select Jaden Ivey, shooting guard from Purdue.
Drew, I knew this is where you were going to go, but I'm going to disagree. This is not who I'm taking.
Okay.
I think, there's a lot of – I've seen a lot of people say that this is where the draft is really going to begin and get interesting because the top 3 are such no-brainers that we're not really going to see any surprises there. I've got Keegan Murray from Iowa as the 4th pick in my draft. I really don't think you could go wrong with either of those picks. But for me, I like what I saw from Keegan Murray. I think he is probably the most pro-ready out of anybody beyond the top 3. And if I'm Sacramento, I'm taking him at 4. But I don't think if he doesn't go to the Kings, I think that the next team that we're going to mention is going to be very happy to have him sitting right there on their draft board, ready to take, especially when you consider the move they made just earlier today.
And I don't blame you for saying that you're going to take Keegan Murray here because Jaden Ivey prefers not to even go to Sacramento. So,
well, it's if I'm an NBA athlete or if I'm a draft prospect, looking around, do you really want to go to Sacramento, Drew? If you're a prospect?
Don't, but I mean, honestly, nowadays it's a little more intriguing. Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. You put a Jaden Ivey in that mix.
They're
I mean,
finally
it's a
starting
little,
to get somewhere. It's still a bit of a ways off if
you
once
know,
they get Ivy or
you know
whoever
who
they
I'd,
take.
you know who I'd like, if it didn't work out in the top three for him, Chet Holmgren to slide down here.
Yeah,
What Sabonis dishing to him inside at the center, that front court game would look like.
yeah,
See what that kind of mix up was like. But that's kind of where I get the pause with the Keegan Murray pick here is Sabonis is there. You're going to put Sabonis at
yeah,
center? I mean, you could, but then he's
yeah,
undersized and he's going to get bullied.
yeah,
And Sabonis is not a defender. So, I mean, he can't hold his own against the biggest of guys down there. So, if you're playing Philly somehow, and if they have them on the schedule, if you're playing Philly
yeah,
and you're Sacramento, Sabonis don't stand a chance guarding Joel Embiid down there.
yeah.
So,
It,
but
it could just be something similar to what the Mavericks utilized in the playoffs with their small ball lineup. I mean,
yeah,
it depends on the talent that you have and where you want to, the direction you want your team to go and what's available. I don't know. I mean, I obviously both of us think that Ivy and Murray will both be available there. I would take Murray, you would take Ivy, but I think either way they would get a really good player at the end of the
yeah.
day.
No, I totally agree. We'll see who's going to get the next guy. Here at the number 5 pick, those Detroit Pistons have their pick in. The 5th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the Detroit Pistons select Keegan Murray, power forward from Iowa. BJ. Keegan, and this is a perfect time. This is why I stuck with this and didn't shuffle anything around.
Hmm.
Because Jeremy Grant got traded earlier today.
Yeah, yeah.
And now this gives Keegan Murray all the room in the world to fit in, to get in where he fits in Detroit. And they had a lot of impressive things going on at the end of the season after
Hmm.
the All-Star break, made a lot of games interesting. They only lost, man, I think they only got blown out a handful of times or less. And that's saying a lot for literally the last place team in the East
Yeah,
to always keep things within single digits. Like the only times, they were always competitive. They were feisty all the time. So,
yeah.
if they can start putting things together at the beginning of the year, giving people problems early like they were late, then, they'll be able to put some things together and make some noise. Cade Cunningham's still out there. They got Marvin Bagley over there. It's been a better home for him in Detroit. So they could mix up the young bunch and be pretty interesting. But we'll see what they do now that they shipped off Jeremy Grant, which could have made this a nice little nucleus.
Yeah, I had my top 5 at the very least. I think I had my top 10 ready before I found out about the trade of Jeremy Grant, and I still stand by it just because I think I like Keegan Murray's talent level, but scheme wise, it does make more sense, and it will be a better fit for Keegan Murray if he ends up in Detroit. But especially with the move made today. By the way, I don't know if you mentioned this. Portland is sending a 2025 first rounder, and then the teams are swapping their second round picks in this year's draft
I did not, but
for
those are
Jeremy
the full
Grant.
details. Yeah, it's gonna
So
be so. Who would you pick? Because obviously you had Keegan Murray at 4. Are you taking Ivy here?
yeah, I'm taking Ivy. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean it's just basically a flip flop. I thought Murray was a little bit better, but they're both top 5 players in my book. You really
Right.
can't go wrong either way. I in my opinion.
Fair assessment there, BJ. You can't go wrong there at all. All right, let's keep it rolling as the next pick is in.
Yeah, he is.
All right. With the 6th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the Indiana Pacers select Benedict Mathurin or Mathurin.
Matherin, yeah.
Matherin. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. Benedict Matherin, shooting guard from Arizona.
You're right with me, Drew, on this pick. I watched a little bit of Arizona basketball, mostly their tournament game. Had my heart broken in that overtime thriller, the second round between TCU and Arizona, pulling for my frogs in that one. But I liked what I saw from him. I think it was, how he was able to attack, especially in the second half against TCU. In the first half, they really relied on attacking the paint, and then the perimeter outside shots weren't falling. And then I think late in the second half and in overtime, Matherin really made his presence felt and stepped up and took over that game and willed the Wildcats to Sweet 16. They didn't get any further than that, but they were a lot of people's pick to try to make a deep run, and it was because of the talent they had out there. Matherin is a part of that for sure.
Big time player here. Carlisle's going to get a guy to help out over here. Kind of uncertain, I believe, on the future of TJ Warren out there as well. That's what makes this guy a lot more safe of a pick.
Yeah,
right
that and Miles Turner may be out. There may be a
they're
lot
talking
of
about
stuff
Brogdon too. So
Mm-hmm.
they need a guy that they can start building around. They think it is Matherin.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we'll see what happens for Carlisle and the Pacers out there in the East. All right. This next pick is in from Portland. The seventh pick in the Lowdown mock draft. The Portland Trailblazers select Dyson Daniels, shooting guard from the G League Ignite.
I saw him listed here, Drew, but I'm going to go a different route.
Okay.
I went with Shaden Sharp from Kentucky. I think that I like what Sharp brings a little bit better. I think he's a better fit for the Blazers when you look at what they've got with Damian Lillard, now adding Jeremy Grant, in that forward position. You could slide in Sharp into that shooting guard role, and the Pacers, not necessarily, quite where they were when they were, making a run to the Western Conference Finals just a few years ago, but starting to get there and giving Dame a reason to stick around. I think the best pick and one of the more underrated picks in this position, if I'm Portland, I go Shaden Sharp.
Okay, BJ. I see you with Shaden Sharp. Yeah, I mean, he's projected, to still be in the top 10, kind of fall down to the Wizards-ish.
Yeah.
But not expected to fall there if you can grab him early and, you're deciding to go ahead and get him here. Wouldn't be a bad addition. I mean, you can pick and choose your guys here. It's between them two. You got to replace C.J. McCollum out in Portland. You got a little help from Jeremy Grant going out here now. Now you just got to add a guard to help in the backcourt for Dame. And, I mean, you can go either way, frankly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're good with either one. Shaden Sharp, respect the pick, 6'6", a little bit shorter than Dyson Daniels. Dyson, the rare 6'8" two guard.
Yeah.
Don't often see that, but
not often.
But yeah, all right. Well, we're going with Mr. Sharp then. Take it. Next pick is in from the LA Lakers. And it's the New Orleans Pelicans. First round pick, the 8th pick. The New Orleans Pelicans in the Lowdown mock draft select AJ Griffin, small forward from Duke University.
You know what, Drew? I think that's a bit of a reach to say AJ Griffin goes that high. I took Jeremy Socran from Baylor. I think he would be a really good power forward fit for the Pelicans there. That's about the only position they realistically need. Getting a top 10 pick because of the Anthony Davis deal, with a healthy Zion coming back and the rest of the pieces they've got, Brandon Ingram, of course, I like what Socran, especially defensively, adds to that Pelicans team. If they take him, that's a scary, scary team that will compete with, Luka and with the Grizzlies. And, I mean, you're talking about the Southwest Division being scary for at least the next 5 to 10 years, if not longer.
Okay, big talk there. Okay,
and I'm not a person that I mentioned my love. I was watching the Frogs against Arizona. I don't give a whole lot of credit to Baylor unless credit is due. Just as a matter of philosophy.
Right, I feel it, BJ. I mean, I'm not mad at it. You got plenty of options here for the Pelicans.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of what you feel like you need most and. This guy fits in down there with Valanciunas. Stuff it in there. Go get big with it. I mean, you got a lot of guys that can play some good ball in New Orleans right now. They showed it with they're fighting that first round matchup. So you put this guy from Baylor out here, 6'9", big man, and you got some big business in there in New Orleans.
Absolutely.
All right. And these picks are flowing. This next one's in.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. we're going with the 9th pick in the Lowdown mock draft. The San Antonio Spurs select. Well, what I had was Jeremy Soccer, BJ.
No, they're going
What?
to go with Johnny Davis from Wisconsin, Drew. I think that's who they're going to go with. Pop is going to get him the next Tony Parker. They're going to have a point guard leader for years to come. With the talent that Johnny Davis had, almost single-handedly willing Wisconsin into the race for the Big Ten title. I think that's a fantastic pick for them here in this spot.
Whoa, okay, man. BJ reaching down, grabbing it, and picking it up, pulling it to the top because he was outside the lottery. Why the pull up there, BJ? Why the confidence?
I like Johnny Davis. I've liked him ever since I saw ever since I started watching Big Ten ball back in January. I liked his game. I liked his skill set. And I think he's very deserving of a top 10 pick. If he doesn't go to the Spurs, I think the next team up is going to snatch him. He's going to be in the top 10 for sure, Drew. I don't think he falls outside the top 10.
Well, BJ, we'll find out because the next pick is in. All right. The 10th pick in the Lowdown mock draft. The Washington Wizards select Shaden Sharp.
All right, he's already
Shooting
off my
guard
board.
from Kentucky. He's off BJ's board.
But I'll bring back a name that you've already mentioned, Drew.
It's that McDaniels.
I had Dyson Daniels, yes, from G League Ignite. And I think if he falls this far, Drew, the Wizards snatch him up too. I like his talent. I think that he'll be the first G League player taken off the board.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got a lot of talent, and at 6'8", if you're playing the guard position, oh my God, that's extraordinary height.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat that length, and a guy that can score the ball the way he can, man, gonna line it up. Especially if Bradley Beal leaves town, then it's all his out there.
That's gonna be a tall team when you factor in, if you get a Dyson Daniels in there with Kristaps Porzingis. Wizards are building up some skyscrapers out there.
Hey man, but I wouldn't mind Shaden Sharp out there, if it went like
that's
that.
True. That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
I like his talent. I had him higher. If he falls to the Wizards, that's a no-brainer in my book.
All right, man. This one, I'm hoping it goes this way because that means we kept our guy. With the 11th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the New York Knicks select Ty Washington Jr., point guard from Kentucky.
It's a very interesting pick there, Drew. It
is.
I don't agree. I think that might be a little bit of a reach for the Knicks. I have them going with Jalen Duren.
Fashion.
Well,
these. I mean, I'm not trying to make these based on my brothers. I'm not trying to give the Knicks what they deserve. I'm giving them what they're gonna do.
True.
They're gonna do some weird stuff.
Yeah,
they're gonna miss it. They're gonna swing and miss on Jalen Brunson, and they're gonna get Ty Washington Jr. They're like, this is our point guard of the future.
There's a lot of talk that they are back in trying to, sweet talk Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I don't think they're gonna be successful in that, but I do think that they're gonna look at Memphis and take Jalen Duren.
Okay. I'm not mad.
That's who goes to the Knicks. No, it's
a
good pick. You being realistic, me being a little bit of, hey, let's give them a benefit of a doubt here. Let's see if they can actually, hit one out of the park for a change.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
You just got to go for it. All right. So, next up, the pick is in. And next up, we have the 12th pick from the LA Clippers, now in possession by the OKC Thunder. The 12th pick in the Lowdown mock draft. The OKC Thunder select. I'm going to try not to butcher this name. Ousmane Dieng
I think
Small forward.
it's Usman, but I'm right there with you.
Ousmane Dang, small forward from France.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Drew that if he's available, that's a solid pick for the Thunder. I had if Soccer falls, I don't think he will, but if
Mhm.
Soccer falls, this is where he'll get taken. This is the lowest I think that Jeremy Soccer would still be available. And either way, I think it's a fantastic pick for the Thunder, getting two very good talents. Obviously, both lottery picks for the Thunder, but trying to get that rebuild going. If they take Dieng, I mean, you talk about how many big guys they've gotten in the past couple of years with Giddy, Holmgren, potentially Dieng. I like it. I like what I'm seeing.
They've got a crew of young bucks out there.
Mm-hmm.
SGA, Giddy. They're gonna have Holmgren and Dieng.
Yeah.
I think they have Tyrell Terry as well. That comes off the bench. So I mean, they've got a young core that they can build with, and SGA is fantastic. So I mean,
Yeah.
depending on what they do to add some veteran leadership around it, things could get interesting in OKC. It could be one of them Chris Paul sneak into a playoff years or something for them.
Yeah.
Who knows? But they'll definitely be an interesting team, kind of like the Pistons on the East.
Mm-hmm. Watch out for them.
Yeah. All right, watch out for this next team. That pick is in from the Hornets. It's the 13th pick in the Lowdown mock draft. The Charlotte Hornets select Johnny Davis, small forward from Wisconsin.
See, I think you had him falling down, and I had him a little bit higher on my board. This is where I see AJ Griffin going from Duke. I think he will end up being kind of a little bit closer to where he went to school and staying in the North Carolina and in Charlotte. I think it would be a fantastic pick for the Hornets if they add him to already a young nucleus of a team that was in the play-in this year. Maybe what they need to take another step forward and make it into the field of the actual playoffs as opposed to the play-in.
Right. They need some kind of boost there. But yeah, I'm thinking he helps them out here. You could slide Miles Bridges down,
Mm-hmm.
play some power forward, and then I don't know who would just start. Zeller, Washington, I don't know, but
Yeah.
you don't have to have a big guy, super big dude in there to hold it down. So,
And don't forget, Drew, they've got 2 of 3 picks here in this this span, so they've got some options.
They do. We'll see what they pick here in a minute, but before that, the pick is in for number 14 from Cleveland.
Cavaliers.
14th pick, yes, in the Lowdown mock draft. The Cleveland Cavaliers select. Oh, Lord, please be with me on this name. Ochai Agbaji. Shooting
I believe it's
guard
Agbaji,
from
but
Kansas.
yes.
Dang
yes.
it.
Agbaji, yeah.
Shooting guard from Kansas.
When you watch as much Big 12 basketball as I did, Drew, you hear the name Agbaji a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're solid right there. I'm right there with you. The last pick of the lottery round here, the Cavaliers are going to get a solid player in Agbaji. When we talked about them a lot here in season 2 during the NBA season. I remember you had a bold claim about the Cavaliers that we're not going to revisit for posterity, but the nucleus they have there with Garland, when you add in an Agbaji to that, you got a Garland, you got Mobley, you add Agbaji in there as well, and this Cavs team is not, injuries, notwithstanding, will be in, I think, a top 5 in the East kind of team.
And they have Okoro.
Yeah.
And then, I'd say and I don't know if you said Sexton.
I didn't say Sexton, and I forgot Jared Allen, but he was obviously part of that too. But that's a scary looking Cavs team if they're able to add Agbaji to it.
It's going to be a problem.
A very big problem for the Eastern Conference.
Man, but there is another problem going on, and that's who the heck is going to win this Stanley Cup, PJ.
Oh,
I don't have a clue, but hockey
Oh.
fans, those of you that know these teams are on the pursuit for the Stanley Cup, it is on and popping at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. They have an unbelievable offer. You cannot believe it, for the most exciting playoffs in sports. That's debatable. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $100 in free bets, no matter what, win or lose.
Yeah, Drew, I'm liking what I've seen from the Avs so far, but tough to count out the two-time defending champion Lightning.
Yeah.
And with a Game 3 win at home, they're right back in the series. If you're looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the Stanley Cup playoffs, you can do that with DraftKings same-game parlays. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets, like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more. It's your shot, a slap shot at that, at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win and get $100 in free bets, no matter what. That's code TBPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew, we've made it out of the lottery, but we're going to head right back into the 15th pick of the mockdown of the lowdown. The lowdown mock draft, and the Charlotte Hornets are on the clock. Drew,
The mockdown.
The mockdown. Yeah, that's what we're going to call this
That's
episode.
fantastic.
The mockdown. Thank you. All right, Drew. Might be a little bit different here, but with the 15th pick in the Lowdown's mock draft, the Charlotte Hornets are going to stay close to home and take Mark Williams from Duke.
Whoa. Okay.
2 Duke players and 3 picks.
Mark Williams from Duke. I wasn't going to go center here, but, I understand you want to go ahead and try and fill that need. But, oh, man, I had an itch to go ahead and grab Tari Eason here, power forward from LSU.
Yeah.
He can space the floor as well. He can open up the offense. His main value comes on defense, though. So, he's still a solid defender. So that would have been a good, almost, I don't want to say 3-and-D forward, if that doesn't even make sense. But, a guy that can defend very well inside, solid dude, not afraid. But, whichever way you want to go, center is a safe bet because, Mark Williams, Duke Nation out here. So, you got a big guy. This dude's 7'2". What's getting in the rim with him up there, frankly, 7'2". But, either way, you got a decision to make on your second pick. So, either way, you got a big man. A guard is not the way you wanted to go. So, pick your poison here. So, yeah. I'm down with it, though, either way it goes.
Tari Eason, a good pick there, in my opinion, Drew. I think he goes a little bit further down, though, Drew. Okay. All right, the Atlanta Hawks are on the clock, and if they don't trade this pick away, Drew, the pick will be in.
Oh, man. Yeah. We'll see. Oh, they didn't trade it away.
Oh, okay. All right. So with the 16th pick in the 2022 the Lowdown mock draft, the Atlanta Hawks are going to take Jalen Williams from Santa Clara.
I'm right here with you, BJ. That's where I was going with it too. They don't need another small forward. They've got DeAndre Hunter, big body in there. They need to get a guard in there to help out Trey, somebody that can take over, get some buckets for you. He can space the floor, shoot the 3, 6'6". You got a tall 2 guard, and he's a good spot up guy. That's assist for Trey right there. A good little 1-2 punch there at the guard position. It's a good way to go.
I think so too, Drew. I saw Jalen Williams when he played against TCU, one of the few non-conference games the Frogs actually lost, and it was a big reason why was Jalen Williams. So I saw his talent early in the season back in, I believe it was December last year when that game was played. And I thought that he might, if he could Will Santa Clara into a good record or maybe even an NCAA tournament spot, he might go up higher on the draft board. I think he probably earned his way into the first round because Santa Clara had a 20 plus win season, just could not. The West Coast was so stacked this year that
Yeah.
it was tough for them to get any more teams at large in than they already did. All right, Drew. Sounds like the Houston Rockets are back on the clock, and it sounds like the pick is in.
That's facts.
Drew, with the 18th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, Houston Rockets are going to select Tari Eason from
I
LSU.
knew you were going to do that to me. Don't do it. You know what you should do, Houston? You should take Dalen Terry, small forward from Arizona, and deepen some backcourt right here. You got Banchero at 3, so you got to add some depth in the backcourt. Small forward guy, another lanky dude, 6'7", stretch it out. He's going to end up being, inevitably a role player with these other guys, but he adds length. He's got tool to thrive as a high energy guy who's got some wiggle off the dribble and can shoot the 3. Maybe not as well as some other guys, but he can make it, by God. And that's where I would rock at 17 for Houston. But
Yeah, I mean, if Eason's still available, Drew, I think you got to take him. I think he's the best player still available on, at least on my board at that spot. But you had him going earlier, and I can't say that I blame you.
Yeah,
all right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with this next pick from the Bulls.
Yeah, very interesting. And sources tell me the pick is in.
Sources.
With the 18th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the Chicago Bulls select Malachi Brenham from Ohio State.
I'm right there with you.
Very solid pick.
That's where I was going to go too. Young guy, Chicago, they could use this dude out here. I don't think you can go anywhere else but right here to get Brenham. And, he's been a go-to option down the stretch for Ohio State at the end of last year as a freshman, getting buckets to finish the season, 17 points a game to end the year. He's a scorcher, big time shooter, high percentage 3-point shooter. So, I mean, it's a good pick.
I think so too, Drew. I mean, that Ohio State team kind of a little bit of an underachieving finish based on, where they were at one point and where they ended up. But it was certainly not because of the talent. Malachi Brenham was a fantastic player all year long for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're on to the Minnesota Timberwolves who are now on the clock. Pick is in. Okay.
Here we go.
A young group. Let's see what they do here. With the next pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Walker Kessler of Auburn.
Really?
Yeah. And think that is a fantastic pick for a really good young Timberwolves team. And I think this is, going to, help them improve as well. This is going to be, I think this is what gets them out of the play-in tournament. And I think could make them a top 5 seed in the West.
Whoa! That's quite the praise for the Walker Kessler pick here, which most would probably consider early. Oh man.
I think he's starting to rise up in some other mocks. I looked at only a couple just for comparison after I did my draft, and I found him similarly in this range. So I think a lot of experts are starting to come around on Kessler being in the top 20s.
Okay.
So what you have here?
Oh, the pick is in.
Oh, no, too late to move on. Okay, so we won't find out where Drew goes with Minnesota, but San Antonio Spurs are on the clock, and with the next pick in the Lowdown mock draft, San Antonio selects Blake Wesley of Notre Dame.
There you go. Get you a good guard pick right here. Blake Wesley, a little freshman guy that can do some things for you. you're not a real gamble here. You know what you're getting out of Wesley, this young kid. You don't know how fast he'll develop, but you're willing to take the risk because he's a hooper.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did you like about him most, BJ? This was your pick.
Yeah. I liked what I saw from him, especially when there was that game. I think it was the play-in game that they were in over like double overtime. Just kind of the poise that he had late into that game and hitting some clutch baskets. Was it against Rutgers,
Oh,
Drew?
I
I'm
don't
trying to
know.
remember. It was definitely in that playing game, but I think that he was a big reason why they were able to make the run as far as they did. They ultimately got knocked out by a really good Texas Tech team, but he got them a couple wins, which is a lot better than some of the other teams that are in the NCAA tournament can say. So I thought he was phenomenal in those clutch moments, and I think he played himself up into first round pick.
Yeah, good combo of size and scoring, and two-way guard here. So
Hmm.
fortunate. Oh, there we are.
All right. Next up on the clock is the Denver Nuggets,
21.
and at 21, the Lowdown mock draft. The Denver Nuggets are going to take Dalen Terry from Arizona. You had him going earlier in your board, Drew. I like his talent. I think he would be a phenomenal fit for this Denver Nuggets squad. Obviously, try to develop him in case you have another, you know, severe injury that dampers the team as a whole. Obviously, we all remember Jamal Murray missed the entire season for Denver, and they really could use some depth that would help them compete. So it's not just all on Jokic's arms, all not all on him. And I think if they went with Terry here, that would be a phenomenal pick.
Well, BJ, like you said, I don't have Terry here.
Yeah.
I went with Kendall Brown for the Denver Nuggets, small
Mhm.
forward from Baylor, 6'8" guy. Good size here, 6'8". His frame and athleticism at the wing would, be big time for them. You know, always need depth behind Michael Porter Jr. Because who knows what's going to happen with him and his back. It's only good for a matter of time, and then it's always flaring up or whatever's going on with this guy. But um, he's had
Yeah.
flashes, but he's not been consistent. But he doesn't have to worry about rushing to be big time early with Denver because of Porter Jr. Murray will be back in two-time MVP Jokic. He can just get in where he
Yeah.
fits in. And let's
Absolutely.
see who's
All
who's
right.
those Memphis guys.
Those Memphis Grizzlies, Drew, and I already have a feeling that you're not going to like where the Grizzlies go here. But the
Um,
next pick in the lowdown mock draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Ty Washington from the University of Kentucky. I know
oh
you had him
wait,
going earlier, but I think he is going to be a fantastic pick for Memphis. And if he falls this far, they'd be foolish not to take him here.
man, crazy. Um, I went EJ Liddell here from Ohio State, power forward guy. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know why. Um, I just didn't even know. I didn't know what to do with Memphis here, so I just kind of picked a big man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know.
I think when I think the Grizzlies could use some depth at guard. It looks like they might not be able to keep Tyus
Ja.
Jones.
Well,
So
Ja's
if they
always
could
very himself too.
that too, yeah. But add in, you add in Ty as a backup and add him to that team with Triple J and Desmond Bain and those guys. I don't think you lose that much of a step, even if Jaw does get hurt again. So if he's still available, I think Memphis takes and I think that would be fantastic pick. Drew, I think the 76ers are trying to trade this pick, but if
Probably.
they do make this pick, I'll tell you who they'll take. All right.
All right, let's hear it.
So this would be the first, at least the first trade that I think will happen for sure. There's some other candidates earlier in the draft, but I think this will be a for sure draft day deal. That I think 76ers are trying to get out of this pick, and they're really willing to give up Tyrese Maxey along with it. But if the 76ers do pick in the Lowdown mock draft, they will take Wendell Moore Jr. from the University of Duke.
Okay. Well, I think they will also trade this pick. So I didn't really have a whole bunch of stock in it. I went with Jaden Hardy from the G League Knight shooting.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're trying to trade this one away. Obviously, Harden is aging. You really could use some more talent out there on the wing if they do end up making this pick. I think that's the biggest reason why they would make the pick if they're not able to trade it for another very high talent player. So
yeah, I got who you got going here.
Okay. Well, Milwaukee, you've already said his name, but with the next pick at number 24, the Milwaukee Bucks are taking EJ Liddell from Ohio State. I mean, just for the reasons that you had him going a couple picks earlier, I think he was a fantastic player down low for that Ohio State team, and I think that just adding some more depth to that Bucks team as they try to get back to another NBA Finals after winning it just last year.
Well, I didn't want to go power forward here because I saw that EJ or PJ Tucker. There's rumors he could be going back to Milwaukee, and he served a lot of different positional roles for them, and power forward would have been one of them, along with the depth of Bobby Portis getting better and taking up a lot of minutes at that position, and Giannis plays power forward sometimes as well to kind of small things up at the top. Yeah. So I had to go with Wendell Moore just to add some depth up top for those guys. Drew Holiday needs some help every now and then. And, if Middleton, ever, happens to be hurt again, like in this situation, they would have a guy like Wendell Moore to come off the bench.
Yeah. I think, there's been talk for Milwaukee. They've got a lot of different options. A name that I might mention here in a second, as well as like Andrew Nembhard. They're trying to, keep that window open as long as they can. And I think that EJ Liddell would help add some size in the perimeter, in the paint. I mean, and I think that would be the best pick if he's still available. You've got him going earlier. I think if he's still available, Milwaukee might look into taking him. All right, next up on the clock with the 25th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Kennedy Chandler from the University of Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another guard for the Spurs here. And I'll tell you, we were talking about what San Antonio's options are since they have 3 first-round picks. I think they're going to try to get just, as many talented players in as possible. And they're going to see which one kind of fits the scheme the best. And so I think it wouldn't be foolish to take another guard here and just, let the summer camp and everything like that determine who ends up being the ultimate victor, if you will.
I went with Nikola Jovic from Serbia to be a project for Pop.
I have thought that might come up. I've got him going in the first round. Not going to tell you where, but he is on my board. So stay tuned. I think they go with another guard, but it'll be interesting. I think if Pop is planning on sticking around for a while longer than a lot of people think he is, they might take a project. But if he's just trying to get another opportunity here in the next couple of years before he decides to hang it up, they may just go with another guard.
Fair enough.
All right. Next up on the clock is the Mavericks, who have I hear they just reminded me the Mavericks traded away their pick for Christian Wood. So the Houston Rockets are on the clock. And with the 26th pick in the Lowdown mock draft, Drew, the Houston Rockets select Christian Braun from the University of Kansas.
Okay. Tell me about this one, BJ.
Well, I think you got to look at what the Rockets are going to need. You've got point guard with John Wall coming back. He's already opted into his contract for next year. So you look at what else they could fill, and I think Drew, you take a look at the shooting guard position. You want a guy that's out on the wing, another guy like what you had with Harden. He's an excellent 3-point shooter, or well, 38% is pretty good actually for the the college game. He's really good passer, really good defensively and rebounding. And I think that you take into account just the kind of play he had in the tournament. We saw a lot of him on that Kansas team that went all the way to the title. I think it would be a pretty good pick for the Rockets here. Maybe a little bit of a reach. I've seen some mocks have him at the end of the first, early second round. But I think that unless they want to, take a look at some of the some foreign teams, if they want to stay, in the States, I think Christian Braun's their guy. They may look into going over and taking a foreign player though. I've seen kind of mocks be sporadic with what they do here with this pick. They just need talent, Drew.
Fair enough.
All right. The 27th pick in the Lowdown mock draft. Miami Heat are going to select Jaden Hardy from G League Ignite.
Ooh, BJ. Why? I went different here. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I went Jalen Williams here from Arkansas.
Okay.
Had some depth with the loss of PJ Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
I think when you look at what Miami has done, especially drafting the first round, he had a lot of talent when coming into this year. He still has a lot of upside. He's only 19. He hasn't even turned 20 yet, Drew.
He's a
and
baby.
they've got a lot of talented players, a lot of talented shooters in Miami. And if he's coming off the bench, similar to how Tyler Hero was, this is another guy that they could add in to help add some depth to their bench. And this could be a pick, Drew, that ends up getting Miami back to the finals. It could be if they go with Hardy here.
You know what, BJ? I'm going to surprise you.
Okay. All right. Next up, the 20. Is this the 28th pick? Yeah, this is the 28th pick in the Lowdown mock draft. And the world champion, San Francisco Golden State Warriors.
Oh, boy.
Select Jake LaRavia from Wake Forest.
BJ, they're taking Jaden Hardy here.
Okay.
Champs are going to get Jaden Hardy, and they're going to swing this as a nice little backup guard pick for some depth in Golden State. And like Coach Kerr said, I think we're going to be even better next year. And once they add Jaden Hardy, that's the first step into doing so.
All right, I like that pick, Drew. I don't think he'll be available, but if you look at Golden State, want to make sure they're going to try to bring everybody back. Obviously, as you would expect from the championship team. If they're not, I think I'd start looking at who's most likely to leave first. And I think you want to try to get some depth at the power forward position, especially I believe Andre Iguodala. He's not announced anything yet, but I don't expect him to return. I think Draymond will probably be the least likely. I think he'll come back, but I think he'd be the least likely to stick around long term. And when I look at what I saw from Wake Forest this year, Drew, it's really just a shame that they missed their chance. They were too big of a bubble that got popped. And so I like what he does. I like what he does on this Warriors team. Another 38% deep ball shooter last year, a really good free throw shooter too. I think he's just got a really good ability on both sides of the ball. And when you throw in that he's only 20, if he's available, I think he's the best pick for the Warriors in this spot. You're muted.
It's okay.
All right. Next up on the clock is the Memphis Grizzlies. And I didn't hear the music. Are they ready? Is their pick in?
Oh, sorry. Did it already? I'm sorry.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So their pick is in. And at 29, Drew, in the Lowdown mock draft, the Memphis Grizzlies are going to take Nikola Jovic, as you said. I have him going here as opposed to a few picks earlier, as you mentioned, just for the reasons that you mentioned him. I think that with the Grizzlies here getting some more talent, on both sides of the ball and adding him in, if he falls this far, Drew, and a lot of people have talked about him going as high up as, like 24, 23 even maybe. If he falls this far, I think that the Grizzlies would be stoked and to add his talent that point in the draft. If he's not available, I think they should probably go ahead and trade the pick. What do you think?
Yeah, they might as well trade the pick. I thought they were going to here, so I just kind of I went with Josh Mignell. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Power forward from Memphis, just to stay in Memphis. In the right system, he could be all right, but he's still got to develop. But I don't think they'll keep this pick.
Yeah, I could see them easily trading this pick.
Yeah.
All right, which that takes us to the end of the first round, and the music signals that the Denver Nuggets pick has come in. And with pick 30 in the Lowdown mock draft, the Denver Nuggets are going to take, as you mentioned just a second ago, Drew, Marjan Beauchamp from G League Ignite.
No, BJ. No.
All right. Who do they take then?
They're going to get a backup for Jokic. But
Okay.
it's not the same type of player, and it's a big man from Auburn, Walker Kessler.
All right, I like the pick.
Jokic up. And they get some interior defense and a big man that can develop into something better.
Okay. All right. Pretty solid pick there, Drew.
They'll still lose to the Mavs in playoffs.
Pretty solid picks all around, and that concludes the first round of the Lowdown mock draft.
Yes, indeedy. All right. Well, let's go ahead and shift some gears a bit here, BJ, because some news dropped earlier today during NBA Today, and it had to do with some WNBA All-Star starters.
Yeah.
So, BJ, as you know, my votes were due on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. You want to give us your ballot first before we talk about the starters?
Oh, man. Okay. So, all right, fine. I'll give you my ballot.
Okay.
I'll start with the good part.
All right.
All right. I went front court. Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, Candace Parker, Jonquel Jones, Alyssa Thomas. Let's see who else. How many is that? 5?
Yeah, that's 5.
Who else was it? My goodness, am I missing? Hold on. Maybe I need to open it.
That might be helpful.
Hold on. Let me look at this image right here. Who am I missing? Nneka Gumake.
Okay.
Big Nneka as well. Okay, so those are my front court. All right, I'll start with the good, and then we'll get into where it goes off the cliff. Kelsey Plum, the guards. This is where it goes off the rails. Alicia Gray. She was not very high in the voting from the fans. Shame on you out there not voting Alicia Greatness Gray to the All-Star team. But it's okay. I understand. Arike Gumbawale.
Mm-hmm.
Enrique was 4th in media voting for guards,
Yeah.
4th in WNBA players' votes for guards, but she was 11th in the fan vote. The fans are the reason that Enrique is not an all-star starter this year. The whole reason, because everybody else, media and players, believe that she should be a starter.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one right there. And then I was battling this last one for a while, and most of us all ended up being wrong at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I went with Ryan Howard.
I like it.
Which is a bold all-star starter thing there.
I like the boldness there.
She's got Atlanta in the playoffs when we didn't expect them to be in the playoffs. She's hooping. She's averaging like 15, 16 points a game.
Yeah.
One of the leaders in 3-point makes, and I think percentage as well. So she's hooping. And almost I struggled at this position. I had Kelsey Mitchell here for a little bit. And I had Jackie Young here for a little bit. The only reason I struggled with Jackie Young was because of the games that she has missed. Just a couple, kind of short. But I still should have went Jackie anyway. But I fumbled with it so many times I forgot to go back to Jackie after I had put the other two down because I was talking with somebody else about it, and I just ended up going Ryan Howard. But yeah,
I like boldness.
But man. BJ, the way it ended up is not what I expected, really. They kind of did what they did when Dirk and Wade retired, but these aren't really honorary because they take up an actual spot in the All-Star team.
They didn't expand the team either to make room for them.
Right. So, all right. So I hit on Asia. It's her 4th All-Star appearance. John Quill's fourth All-Star appearance. Got that one. Kelsey Plum, her 1st. Stewie's 4th. NECA's 7th. Candace is 7th. And these are the ones that I can get on. Jackie, her 1st. Sabrina. I thought about Sabrina too because her numbers had gotten better since she moved to shooting guard.
Yeah.
But guard was really hard. Really hard. Front court was a lot easier than guard was, but guard was really hard this year.
Yeah.
And then they went Sue Bird and Sylvia Fowles for those last spots.
13th for Sue Bird and 8th for Sylvia Fowles.
Did you happen to get to open up the release on what the voting looked like and how it panned out?
I think I've got it here. So, let's see. After you want the fan vote or the media vote or the player vote?
You can just we've got them all. So, we can kind of go over them.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Kelsey Plum, number 1 in fan vote, media vote, and player vote. So she was solid, unanimous number 1 guard. Jackie Young was 2nd.
Actually, let's go. Let's do some notable ones in here. Just ones that kind of jump off the page this year.
All right.
Well, not jump off the page, but kind of raise your eyebrows here. Okay. So let's jump to Sabrina. Sabrina, 4th in the media vote. 5th in the player vote. 6th in the fan vote. So
solid.
Kind of with her, kind of not, but they're down with it.
I think it was just because the slow start and it may have scared some away, but I think the way she's turned it around and the way that the Liberty have turned it around as of late, I think she's deserving. And I don't know if I'm sure you saw
Connecticut.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw it. Before the or during the game, they showed during the shoot around the news that had come out about her being a starter and she got to celebrate with her teammates. I thought that was a really good video.
Okay, and Sue Bird here. She was 3rd in the fan vote, of course. 9th in the media vote because we don't think she's an all-star this year. And 7th in the player vote. So the 7th tells me that some players did the nostalgia, give it to her because it's her last year. And then the others were like, she's not an all-star right now.
Yeah.
It should be somebody else.
Yeah.
And here's another one that's some weird levels on this one. This is I get it though, because I didn't vote her either. I considered her as well, though. There's, like I said, a lot of stuff for guard. Fan rank, this is Jewel Lloyd. Fan rank for Jewel, she's 5th.
5th.
Media rank for Jewel, She's 10th,
Mm,
last amongst these guards in
yeah.
the media vote. Third amongst the player vote.
Really brought her back
So
up.
that discrepancy between media and player for Jewel is
Yeah, that's incredible.
incredible. Here's another one that's incredible, but it's the flip flop, and it's kind of crazy. Skylar Diggins Smith,
Hmm.
fourth in the fan vote,
Yeah,
love. Third in the media vote for guards.
good. Really good. Yeah.
Player vote, 14th.
Yikes. Wonder if it's just because of Phoenix has not been as good as they had been in years past. Maybe I I don't know.
And here's another one that's stark. Arike Agunmuwale.
Yeah, as you mentioned.
The fan vote, 11th. Media vote, 4th. Player vote, 4th. That's
Yeah.
tough right there. Man, if she would have, and I think this is really what got her with the fans, it was the kicking the podium.
Yeah.
It was the kicking.
Probably. Here's your vote, Ryan Howard, though, Drew. 6th in the media, but 9th in the players, 9th in the fans.
Yeah, the fans were probably just like, we're not going to give it to a rookie.
Yeah.
And we want to give it to these other guards and stuff, which I get the other guard stuff. I still think Ryan might have a chance to make it in. She's got, like we said, 6th in the media vote. Kind of considered with the players, not too much, but still good to be, where she is amongst these votes. And then Kelsey Mitchell, 13th from the fan vote because the Indiana Fever stinks. So they're like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But then the media is like 6th, and then players 6th.
Yeah.
All right, so front court.
Okay.
Here's what's funny, and I kind of think this shows where we think the MVP is at right now, and this is how it would shake out because the fan vote is stronger.
Yeah.
Asia Wilson, number 1 in the fan vote, number 2 in the media, number 1 in the player.
Yeah.
And then Stewie, the flip flop on it all, number 2 in the fan vote, number 1 in the media vote, and number 2 in the player vote.
It's that close between
So
them so
the
far.
MVP right now would be Asia.
Yeah, and I can't say that I would disagree, Drew.
And imagine if the only way to make it is if Asia became 2 in either the media or player vote, and Stewie became 1 in whichever flip. So whichever between them flip. If Asia became 1 in media vote and Sorry, hold on.
No, I think it would just flip.
If Asia became 2 in the player vote and Stewie 1 in the player vote, then it would be a tie. Because the fan
I thought it would just flip.
Because the fan vote is 50%, and then the media and player 25-25.
Yeah,
so that could end up being a right there. That would be wild.
That would be very interesting.
Still possible though. Okay, so Stark one here in the front court. Down, Jonquel Jones.
Yeah.
8th in the fan vote. 3rd in the media and player votes.
Interesting.
Here's one of the crazier ones here as we continue to go down here. Candace Parker, 3rd in the fan vote, 7th in the media vote, 13th in the player vote.
Just very surprising.
And number 8 here in the players, Elena Deladon, 4th in the fan vote, 12th in the media vote, 20th in the player vote. Wow. Just because she's played like every other game. So, I mean, the fan vote's the only thing that's got out here right now. Not like EDD's not a great player, but she's not playing every night. She's not available.
No. Yeah.
Tina Charles, 9th in the fan vote, 11th in the media vote, 11th in the player vote.
Yeah.
And then Emma Mieseman, 11th in the fan vote, 9 media vote, 9 player vote. You don't see gold medal leash on here. It's not in the top 10 for guards up there. I don't know where she ranks in the rest of it. I'm interested to see where she's ranking and everything, but they only gave us the top 10s.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm sure she's higher in the media and the player vote, but because Elena Deladon has a more, I would say, recognizable name for the fans that would be voting. That's probably why she got number 4.
Yeah, and if Wings fans, they're not getting those votes out there for Enrique. They ain't got enough out there for
For
Leash.
Alicia, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Wings help Leash out. I mean, this is probably the best chance to get her in, but it's still gonna be tough.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Do you have any thoughts on this? What do you think about Sue Bird and Syl being brought in through these All-Star starter votes, or do you think they should have just been regular All-Stars and maybe not starters necessarily?
Yeah.
If
I mean,
All-Stars at all.
I'm all for the nostalgic and adding an extra spot or two for them in their last season. I don't know if I'd necessarily make them starters or even really just have them as part of the regular team, but add another spot for I think Sue Bird has definitely earned at least a spot on the team. Maybe not as much fouls, but I'm more than willing to recognize her for her accomplishments in her career and have her there at the All-Star game. But I don't know if I'd say they should both be starting. I think of the two, Sue Bird is probably the better choice to have as a starter. But I think they should add them and as honorary and have 2 more spots for some more All-Stars. That's my thought.
What? Hold up. You saying Sue Bird was more deserving of the All-Star nod than Sylvia Fowles this year?
So far, I think so. Yeah.
Go look at the numbers, BJ. Sylvia was the only one in the league averaging a double-double right now, 16 and 10. And the only thing that quote-unquote would even shorten, the only reason she was left off my ballot is because she's been hurt a little bit too long. Just you play 1 or 2 more games, and I probably would have voted her.
I think that was part of it. Is I know she has missed some time. I know it's only been a little bit, but I mean that does play a factor.
But Sue is not playing. She's not doing. I'm box you right now. Sue Bird averages this season 8 points, 6 assists, 30, 40, 36, 40. Darn it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bash Sue. I'm not.
I mean, she's third in assists per game.
Be nicer to Sylvia.
I'm not trying to be mean to Sylvia. I said, I wanted her to, go out with a defensive player of the year. I just think right now, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I just think of the 2 choices, I'm a little bit leaning more towards Sue Bird being a little bit more deserving. Doesn't mean it's a mean thing.
Fine.
I can be critical without being mean.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. Fine. Well, all right. Let me. I forgot to ask you those 2 questions about the draft, so I'm not going to ask them. I'm just going to ask you these with it or quit it questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get to it, my friend. Let's do it.
All right, with it or quit it. Here we go. Number 1. With it or quit it. Pizza Hut is better all around than Domino's. With it or quit it.
See, you saying all around makes me think, because taste-wise, maybe, although I have come to find myself liking Domino's a little bit better. I think I like some of the deals that Domino's has more so. But quit it.
Oh, wow.
Quit it. Okay, not to badmouth Pizza Hut or Domino's, but I don't know.
You just disrespected the pizza that's in my fridge.
Well, the NFL disrespected Pizza Hut too by out-pizzaing the Hut with the Little Caesars news. So.
Pizza Hut doesn't have as cool of a deals that they used to have. So
that's very true.
When I was in college, boy, they had 3 toppings for $7.99.
Yeah, I mean the pick any 2 for $5.99 each. I've used that coupon probably 3 times in the past 2 months for pizza at Domino's. So
might need to change.
You might have to.
We ain't got a Domino's in this town. All right, number 2, Jaden Ivey will have the best career of the lottery picks. With it or quit it.
Oh, Well, you know how I said that I thought Keegan Murray was probably the most pro ready.
Mm.
So you're telling me I have to take either Ivy or the field, essentially. I'm just gonna say the field. I like Murray. I
You
like the.
always play it safe like that. I hate
I
it.
always play it
I
safe
hate
though.
it.
You should
I
know
hate
me
it.
by now.
I hate it. I do. I want you to grow a pair and do something different for a second. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
Well,
it ain't nothing about growing a pair, but do something different. All right,
well,
fine. You quit
I
it.
just I like I said, I picked Keegan Murray for I picked Keegan Murray ahead. I think he's the best out of the non top 3 picks.
Well,
That's my
I'm ready.
pick.
I'm ready to get controversial with you here. Number 3, Christian
Okay.
Wood will be an all-star alongside Luca. With it or quit
Ooh, I like this one.
it.
I hadn't given it much thought because
Till
I
now.
I mean it's going to be interesting to see kind of what role he plays. Um, I think it's tough just because of the way that the how many great players are in the league. I'm trying to see if I can find a spot for him next year. I think he's gonna have to ball out, and I'm not
Yeah,
as sure that that's gonna happen.
it could be
I mean, I think he'll have
2010.
a good season, at least a good enough season, to start off the year.
Well,
But I'm not sure if he'll get the All Star. So I'm gonna say quit it. But I hope I'm wrong.
BJ with James Harden, he was 21-10.
That's true.
With Luca,
Could be
23
even
and
more.
12.
I like
Just
it.
kidding. That'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy. Yeah.
Number 4, baby. Dogs are better than cats. Whether to quit it.
I love both equally, just because I'm a big animal person. But I will say with it, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
That's right.
not
You don't
gonna
just. That's right. Apples. My dog over here. That's right. She's happy.
I'm not gonna insult because I mean we went to a big cat school, but I think if I between the two right now, I think I'd be more willing to take care of a dog.
Feel that. Feel that. Same. Me and my dog be holding it down.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So this one, I saw this on Twitter yesterday, and I was just blown away
All right.
that this food take could just. I didn't
Exist.
know. I didn't know people hated this thing like this, like that.
Hmm.
And the way they were just dogging it, I was just surprised. Like, what is this insane behavior going on?
Really?
Number 5. It is uncommon to hate pickles. With it or quit it.
Yeah, uncommon to hate pickles. I know I'm weird enough that I'm particular about pickles, but I don't necessarily hate them. I know
Right.
a
Like you
few
probably have
members
a
that
prickle preference. Like I like kosher over dill or something
yeah,
like that.
I like dill and I like the slices as opposed to the spear. That's just me.
Right.
I think
So I
it's just
mean,
the texture and the flavor. But hating them all together, I think it is uncommon.
I was just because I
I've
was
got a
trying to.
couple
I
I
had
got a
to.
couple family members that don't really care for the taste in general, but I think that's more because it would be like fast food pickles as
Man.
opposed to like fresh or anything.
Yeah, some of the fast food pickles are lazy, and sometimes they're
Hmm.
just I don't know, they're bad pickles. But
Yeah,
I just saw it, and people were like, I
that
hate pickles, like just the
that's
taste, the
bizarre.
smell, the thought, and I was just like,
Mm.
what in God's name is going on here?
Speaking of trying fast food vegetables, did you give a tomato a try yet? You told
Oh,
Reggie a couple weeks
this
ago you were
is
going to.
man, you are right on time with this question, dude. I had it for lunch today.
And
So
thoughts?
I got a spicy chicken Asiago
Wendy's?
combo. Yes, Wendy's. It had ranch, lettuce, tomato, and applewood smoked bacon with some cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't not like it, but I'm not. I don't prioritize. I'm not gonna go willingly order it all the time. So like,
Hmm.
if I end up with it, whatever, I'll eat it. You
Okay.
know, but I'm not gonna be like all the time going like I'm not changing my order to always have a tomato and lettuce on it now. because I had that. Like, I will eat it. I won't say I don't like it, but when I'm still gonna go order my stuff like how I used to. Like if I get a burger, it's still mustard, ketchup, pickles. But if they got an extra, if somebody is like, we're out, I'm still hungry, there's an extra burger, it's got bacon, it's a BLT, I'm gonna eat it.
All right. Okay.
So that is
I
the verdict.
I like to hear it. So
I was gonna tell Reggie today, but there was a Rangers game going, and I wanted to tell him during his broadcast on the fan. So I'm gonna wait until then. Like, yo, bro, yesterday I had a BLT. Or it was actually a BLT chicken. But it was good though. But Wendy's is good in general. So
I was gonna say
the best place to try it at.
I was gonna say the next time that you don't get your normal burger at Wendy's, try one of their junior bacon cheeseburgers on the 4 for $4 and just leave it all.
I've already done it.
Leave what it comes on with, the lettuce and tomato. I like it. I think you'll like it too.
Yeah, not bad. Well, BJ, that's with it or quit it.
That's with it or quit it. That means that's the end of this episode, Drew.
That's the end of the show.
It just flew by, man.
First Lowdown mock draft, talking about some WNBA All-Star starters. Still got some other All-Stars to vote on. Get the rest of those in. And we'll see how things go. And by the way, co-captains, Sue, Sil, Asia, and Stewie, all captains for the draft. I think the combo is Stewie and Sue and Asia and Sil.
It's Asia and I think it's Sue and Asia and Sylvia with Stewie. I'm pretty sure they took the Storm players and they put
teammates.
Them on. Okay. Yeah. So
off teams. Okay, cool. That works. Well, guys, make sure you're going out there following us on both Twitter and Instagram, our social media platforms. That's the Lowdown, _Lowdown, THA_Lowdown on both Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you guys are dropping those follows on both Twitch and YouTube. Got some content coming your way soon. This episode recorded on a Wednesday, but dropping just the morning of draft day. So make sure you guys check that out. Coming out first thing in the morning. That's going to be all, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week for another episode. You may see a guest, you may not. And don't forget that in season 3, BJ's got his new segment coming, and we got some things coming.
Right.
And we might reveal the name of it before the end of the season. Who knows? We might.
Maybe.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to have to hang around to find out. It may come on one of them bonus episodes, so only the true homies will get the advantage there. But in the meantime, stay solid, guys. Follow us on those platforms. We will see you guys.